So, hello, Miss Mara, zur Working Director und zur Geschäftsführerin des VDMD. Heute machen wir mal was Neues für euch. Das heißt, wir haben heute eine Session in Mixed English, Afrikaans, all the language you are able to speak.
Okay, that's okay.
Hello,
Nice
that's
to meet
good.
you.
Nice to meet you too, Mara.
Yes, this is mixed between Würzburg, Pforzheim, and Berlin. So I like to introduce Miss Crystal Birch today. Miss Crystal Birch, I met her in the end of May at Cape Town in South Africa, and we had together a project which was powered by the SEQA and GIZ, and she's a real professional hat maker, and she bought a big hat making company, and just in the moment she stayed in Berlin at the Fashion Week, and right now she's sitting in the school. I never heard the name of this school. Please, Crystal, tell me something about that. What are you doing there?
The Modeschule, Modeschule in Kochstraße, Nummer 9, to Checkpoint Charlie. And I, by a complete coincidence, met Jon, which is one of the lecturers here in Modulo when I was buying boxes. And my previous housemate from 8 years ago also comes from a hat making family. So she saw him and he said, I need to come see what they do. And now I also have a pop-up shop here, and I've got 2 hats that I can resize, and I can use their facility and see how they, and which techniques they work, how they work, and how their syllabus works. Hat making as to learn and to be taught is so scarce. So it's good to see what the syllabus is and what they are learning and what is the approach from the student point of view.
So what were your impressions about the very start of the pop-up store in where is it? Just what's the name? It's called Season, huh?
It's called Season. It is an interior store. It's until Saturday. This Saturday it's only there for 10 days. It was very good. Also surprisingly very old and hat lovers. So we did very well so far. I don't think I'm going to take many of them back. I think I should leave them here in Berlin.
Yes,
I
of course.
I was meeting some stockists. Yeah, I was meeting some stockists, and then I was working at Fashion Week, assisting as a stylist because I used to do that, but I just did that for fun. And now I can meet the students, and I can meet the Institute of Design.
Sorry, because connection sometimes broke a little bit. Do you have the possibility to show how to make hats in this school? Do they have the ability and the materials, all the things?
I would be able to hat blocks and the materials, and yeah, I would probably see which block I would like to block, and then the steamer, and I think I'll be able to make a hat. That'll be quite lovely. I haven't made one for months. I'm running a company now. Taking care of staff and the union and of all the books and the sales and the marketing and the PR and the planning. So I promised myself when I get back to Cape Town, I need to make one hat at least one or two a month with my own hands to remind myself what I do. And then just to allow myself to play again, because as soon as you become a business owner, it becomes more business. And I'm not the person feeling and doing it from scratch. And I miss that.
So I really remember that you are burning for hat making, but in origin, this wasn't at first not your profession. You started, as far as I remember, in the movie business, isn't it?
And in which business?
Movies, cinema, movies, things like that.
Yeah, in more fashion as a stylist, yeah.
A stylist,
stylist and art director, which was in the magazine industry and then the fashion production, and then I did the TV ads and catalogs and campaigns. The movies were for me but too long. I wouldn't, then I have to live 7 months somewhere or 8 months, and I didn't have the patience for that. I wanted to move quite quickly.
Okay, but where did the idea come from to say, okay, my profession will be, and I'm burning for hat making? Where does it come from?
I studied fashion and wanted to be a specialist in one thing. I didn't want to make clothes like everybody else. I did love everything on my head since I was young. My mom told me at the time I wore a hat for 5 days. I refused to take it off. I didn't want to bath, nothing. I just wanted to wear this hat. And it
You slept as well with the head on.
it was a denim hat with a big sunflower, and at least it was a soft hat, but I carried it with me everywhere. And then when I started doing the stylist and art direction, I became the stylist that makes things for people's heads. So
yes, you remember the song, You Better Take Off Your Hamburg. Maybe if you had like hats like that. And then at one time you decided to buy a company, as far as I know.
Yes, I actually saw this factory when I was a student in 2006, and I fell in love with it. I went back every to be an intern or to go work there, and they said no, they don't do internships because the interns are coming to steal ideas. I was like, what? We're bringing the ideas. And then after I studied in London, I went back to the factory.
So sometimes the connection is broken. So I don't know if you're speaking just in the moment. There's one question more. Did you get any kind of financial support by the government of South Africa, or did you have to pay everything by yourself?
You are frozen. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I hear you. Yes.
Yeah. I've applied for more than 25 different fundings in the past 2.5 years, and only one of them have come back to me, which approved, and they've taken more than a year to even pay out the money, which we don't know how long they're going to take. There's so many red tapes, and when it comes to getting to, they call it TASH funding, for us to survive in lockdown, to pay all of our people. They contributed a small part to it, but then they just cut it off. There's no way, or for us to preserve the skill, or to pay for people to come assist us, or to buy all of our new machines. That's a very big part, or to pay someone extra to come train and provide a training program, because many people in South Africa, that lower income bracket, doesn't have a car, wouldn't be able to drive to the factory, takes public transport, which is the most unreliable thing, and they wouldn't be able to just work free to train. They'll need to get paid for what they do, and they don't provide those funds for it. And our fashion council is not really involved. They just put people in big retail stores and where they go into their offices, or but nothing as special as the craft of millinery.
So, okay, the 2 last years of the pandemic must be having very, very complicated for you as well, as we have it in Germany. A terrible situation about the pandemic. Do you feel it's getting better now in the moment?
Yeah, we did very well when lockdown happened because of funerals.
Yes.
Yes, it's the only place we could go to, and only the people, the small team came. We would listen to the music in the factory, and nobody can bother us, and we can just make all the hats and play, and nobody would just come to the factory and bother us with other things. We could focus on one thing, make what we make, and it was very special. That really helped us to get through the beginning of level 5. I don't know if you guys also had levels, but level 5 was when nothing was open.
Yes, quite interesting. That's a little bit different, but I think, okay, funeral is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But I think in Germany it's a little bit different. So many people do not wear hats. Some young people are really interested as well. I like to wear hats sometimes outside, but I think it's a really good thing to work on this. And do you feel now in Berlin that the ideas of wearing hats is growing?
I think if we create an opportunity, I think it's like bubble tea. Nobody drank bubble tea how long ago? Now there's bubble tea stores everywhere. I don't know where who brought the bubble tea. So I think if we we create a situation where we have a beautiful concrete and contemporary and cool, and the price points are from a good entry level to expensive, and you can educate the consumer and you can introduce people, they will start understanding. Like I feel with a pop-up that I started, I had a lot of Asian clients, like that is way more experimental and dressing Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. That I found in Berlin. Coming back here now, I've seen more Asian people than I did before when I lived here for 6 years in summer. And I've also seen I do see quite some cool hats, but on older women and
Yep.
then young experimental fashion. I haven't seen. I don't think we're also in the hottest part. I think when it's more summer, people wearing.
I don't know. It's
Obviously, it's a big problem with commercial,
okay.
with huge commercial companies. But I think, like last night, I was also at a sustainable event where they're also recycling clothes and they're recycling things into accessories and they're renting out and they're swapping. And I think the younger generation understands that they do not have to buy things at €3 a pair of jeans or €5 that cost less than your lunch after
Yes,
it's
right.
been dyed and sewed and shipped and marked up. And we know that it didn't come from a good place.
No, that's right. Did you have the opportunity yesterday evening to join the FIEX opening?
Oh, I was at the sustainable one where I had to talk as well. So it was exactly at the same time.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed that one.
But okay, if you stay until Sunday, I heard maybe you have the chance to get contact with Miller Doman, and I think it could be very interesting with you. He is really interested in your work, and I think for the future it can be good to work together, maybe because for his pop-up stores all over Germany, the opportunity to sell some real interesting and individual hats could be the right thing.
If you would
Yes.
like me to, I can go there today. I am moving around.
Yes, so please do it. He's waiting for you. I announced that you are interested to get in
Nice.
contact with him, and you have to do that, by the way. No?
I can't
So
hear
how
you. You're
was
breaking up a little bit.
Yes, I know the connection is not so
we're all
really good in the
frozen.
moment. I don't know how it works. But by the way, how was the Fashion Week? Because normally at that time, there was a big Fashion Week 2 months ago, I think, in Berlin as well. We had Fashion Week in Düsseldorf, and we also had some fashion shows in Munich. But what were your impressions about this kind of Fashion Week in Berlin now? Okay, so sorry, so I have to apologize because the connection broke down. And nice to have you back again, Crystal. So you have to apologize for these little problems, but technical problems we have very often. And everybody knows that connectivity and to be digital in Germany is not as good as it is, for example, in South Africa. It's quite different. We have to work. Yes,
we've
Germany.
got load shedding where they turn our power off for 2.5 hours a day.
Yes, but Germany is not really good indeed.
Nightmare.
So we have so many problems with digitalization in Germany, and everybody promised, yes, we'll get better. So the last question I put on you was about your impressions about this Fashion Week in Berlin, because it's this time I never know that in the middle time, because normally you have at that time of June, July about this, we have fashion shows. We have fashion shows in Düsseldorf and Berlin. The big one with the big fairs took place at that time. But the fashion show now, how is the audience? How many people are visiting the fashion show?
The commercial show I worked on was Laskana, and then I had to make a headpiece for Victoria Swarovski in my house with nothing, and go to a hardware store and things because I didn't have anything with me. So the commercial stores, I think it's their VIPs, it's their clients, it's their teams that they work with. And the individual designers, I feel, are all having off-site location secret shows. So at their studio or in a courtyard or something where it's something special. Coming back now after all this time, I don't see there's.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you just for a moment. So I'm back again. Sorry for the interruption. I get the chance to get back to Cape Town to visit you. And what we're talking about in our project, our common project, that next step will be that you are doing a workshop, a tutorial workshop for students in Germany. And if we have a good feedback, the next step will be then we will do in personal that you come to Germany again. And we were doing workshops, maybe all over Germany, how to make hats with ideas from South Africa. because I think your background is a little bit different to that what we have in Germany. And where do you get your ideas from? This could be interesting.
The first thing is that I do not want people to think that hats are old, because everybody thinks it's an old thing or it's old-fashioned. To pull it into a contemporary and a modern space, that it is as important an accessory as your shoes and your belt and your bra is, you know. If your bra is important, I don't know. Then the other things that I draw from is what materials can I get hold of, because I can't always get materials what I want or need.
Yeah.
I also think now this collection is a bit more it's a bit different. I'm educating my consumer more. Before I used to just my one collection was called Disney Funeral, because Harry, my business partner, was 85 and Mickey Mouse turned 90. And I thought if everybody goes to Disneyland to a funeral, what would it look like? Samples. One client bought the whole collection for put it in a safe. Okay. So I mean, it can be any story, any narrative. I think when there's my brand's essence is there's always a fun and funny stories, but it is made very well and it's contemporary and it is educating the client that you can play. It doesn't have to be always just something for you to just go to the beach with a hat, you know?
Yes, of course, of course.
And then I had a collection that was called Wish You Weren't Here, so that the girls could write postcards and they wrote ridiculous stories, having the best holiday, and they didn't want anybody to join them. So they were looking fabulous on their own holiday, wishing that nobody would join them so that they can be alone. And then I had a collection, what my recent collection was, all the shapes in one material. So people could understand straw can be made in any shape. People don't necessarily know felt the same block can be made in felt, straw, Panama size. They think it's a completely different hat.
Of course it is.
We have to educate them. This is one block, one style, different
material.
And I think the education part is inspiring me now, because how do I make a travel collection look really cool, and how do people understand to travel and take care of the hat, and then how do they take care of their skin with a UV protected, Cancer Association approved hat, but in a fashion story. So I'm educating them, which is important. I'm showing them how it's made, which is important. And then I do a few experimental things that people, for the wild ones, and then I do things that are simple and timeless that they can have for a long time and invest in.
Do you have any favorite material?
I do like the new raffia we are working with. It's from Madagascar. It is plaited, it's then flattened, and when you braid it, you can squash it and you can fold it a bit. It is, and it's light in the heat. And I put toweling inside. I went with it to Greece, and it was just the perfect light hat, and it didn't feel like you're wearing anything. I love Ecuadorian Panama too, but it breaks easily if people travel with it.
Yes,
so I'd say the raffia is my favorite at the moment.
So I do remember that using Panama is quite more sometimes dangerous than using felt. Felt is very easy to do. I remember that because I did it by myself when I stayed at the theater in Karlsruhe. And Panama, you have to be very careful.
Very careful.
Breaks,
and I think our lifestyles have become so fast. People aren't that careful anymore. They just want to put their stuff together. Or in Cape Town, also a big thing for us is tying our hats. So all my hats have bows, most of them, because of the wind. Because everybody says, I don't want to wear a hat because the wind is too strong, but it is like 36, 37 degrees.
Yeah.
You need to wear your hat. That is, and not everybody wants a hat from a sports collection that looks like you're going to climb the mountain. You're also going to a wine farm, or you're going to a wedding, or you're, just dressing chic with your sandals and having a beautiful, simple dress on.
So what I do believe, I really do believe that in the future, it's getting more and more important, because if you see the climate change as well in Germany, we had last 5 weeks without more or less without rain in southern Germany. and the sun is burning every day. We've got 33 degrees, 34 degrees, and every summer it's getting more and more. It's getting hotter and hotter. And if you are outside, you have to use hats in any kind. And I think people are also interested to wear fashionable hats, not only caps and stuff like this. And this will be
clients I have clients, they make a collection because they have alopecia or they have a skin condition, and then they make all the hats. So like I make them 12, and then they have all their whole range because they work outside, say at Babylon's Tour and the big farm. All the horticulturists, all the gardeners, they are in the sun the whole time. They're working at this incredible 500-year-old farm, Boschendal, the wine farm.
Yes, I've been there, Boschendal. First time in my life. Very nice.
We made hats for all the grape pickers. We made hats for the baristas and for the champagne pourers because they wanted, and then they wanted to give something to the farm, to the wine farm, where everybody is coming together. And the best way to do that was with a hat, because anybody picking grapes in the field, or someone making a coffee outside, or someone serving champagne at the wine bar, if they wore a hat, everybody could see that this is a team and this is the feeling of the farm. And it was really beautiful.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Mara, do you have any question? Do you have anything to ask? Mara, eine Frage an dich. Hast du eine Frage oder eine Bitte noch an Crystal? I can translate if it's too complicated.
Ja, dass wir uns mal auf einer Messe treffen. Nicht keine Frage, sondern ein Wunsch. Und wenn wir auf der Neonit sind, dass sie mitmacht.
This could be quite interesting because yes,
in Düsseldorf.
Yes. Okay, my working director Mara is asking if it's possible to come to Germany for the next fashion fair. It would take place in February, I think, in Düsseldorf, because we have a little change. I do not know if you heard about the so-called Neonut. Neonut, this is one of the most important fashion fairs for sustainability. And it was a change. 2 years before, it took place in Berlin at the old airport, and it was really very successful. And then the pandemic came over us, and the Neonut was going back to Frankfurt, where it came from. It was founded in Frankfurt many years ago, and 2 years there was nothing, and now it was a restart in Frankfurt, but very small, and it was a little bit outsourced. And the latest information now that the next Neonut will take place in Düsseldorf at the Fashion Rooms in Areal Böhler. And we're good friends with the chief of Igedo company, with Kayla. And now she starts this idea, very, very successful, I hope, and very powerful in Düsseldorf. The Neonut will take place now in Düsseldorf. I think it must be around February. And if I can match this with the Sequa, this would be the opportunity to invite you to come to this, because I think all your materials are sustainable.
That's amazing. I would love to come. I've got my diary until March in my factory. I'll check my team, which trade shows we are doing. We're doing the art fair in Cape Town. I just check the dates because we're taking Selma, the woman who braids these hats. We are putting her inside the middle of the art fair with her machine, and she's braiding hats with one of our stands with the gas to show people how it's made. So we're bringing a part of the factory into the middle of the big exhibition so that people can experience it right there, because they will be blown away, because they have no idea how it's made usually. So it's just the art fair is in February. We have the art fair now busy in Johannesburg. My team is there, but it's all possible. I'm very keen to do that. And I'm also going to, while I'm here, Sarah, my old housemate, her grandmother had a factory, and she's showing me all her old felts that I will be taking in suitcases back with me to South Africa now again.
Great.
The ones that I like and the colors and stuff. The rest I'll show you guys. You can I just think we need to open a store, educate people, and also teach people. And I'd love to do that, where a part of my factory becomes to educate and even it's not everybody who wants to be a milliner. It's also people who just want to broaden their skills. I have women that were running modeling agencies, now millionaires, and they just retired. They're in their 70s. They just want to do something for fun now. Or there's a team that's coming for a bridal party, and the 6 of them, they just want to make something beautiful to wear at the wedding. And they won't necessarily make it from scratch, but they want to put something special together that brings them together, and then they can celebrate their day. So there's so many avenues to explore. That's not only students, but I would like to focus on students because of where it is going and how the industry then becomes important. How Philip Treacy or Stephen Jones or Piers Atkinson, Noel Stewart, how the milliners are collaborating. Noel Stewart is collaborating with Valentino, and that's important. They tell the story. My stomach is growling. How important is that the hat maker is part of the fashion designer,
yes, of course,
and it's not the fashion designer's product, because they say, okay, cool, these shoes are by Puma, or the shoes are, if it's a sneaker or whatever, they feature they can collaborate with hat makers, and that is important too, to tell the story.
Yes, I think for the future, more and more collaboration between because fashion is not only clothes, it's not only garment, it's a total impression. It's lifestyle, and the sneakers do belong, the shoes do belong, the fine shoes do belong as well. The hat, well, I hope so. Do you have something? Do you have something to tell us, our listeners and our followers?
Well, first of all, come visit us in Cape Town. You're always welcome. And if you need to find us online, my brand is called Crystal Birch, and the handle is The Real Crystal Birch. We update the stories. You can see how everything's made. Our online store is therealcrystalbirch.com. We ship worldwide. We can take a video call. We can make something special for you. We can. I would also love to stock in Germany. So if there are stores that would love to have a part of the store or a small collection in the store, that would be lovely. I think that would be very cool for me to expand internationally. And if they want to keep in touch with the factory, they can see the Hat Factory CT, which is Cape Town, on Instagram and on Facebook. And that way they can also see the process, meet the people, and then understand what we do. And then if they're in Cape Town, they can come visit us at the factory, at the store, and then have all of our stockers nationwide.
Well, thanks a lot. I think it was quite interesting.
Thank you.
So, and I have also a wish now for the students here in the school, because I know so many fashion schools in Germany, but I never heard this from this school. I kindly ask you in German now. Ich würde mich freuen, wenn ihr mal auf unsere Homepage geht, VDMD, Verband Deutscher Mode- und Textildesigner. Maybe it's, I hope, ich denke, es ist sehr interessant für euch. Wir sind der größte berufsständische Verband, die Mode- und Textildesigner unterstützen mit ganz unserem Wissen. Wir haben ganz, ganz viele, sehr, sehr erfahrene Designer, die gern ihre Informationen, ihr Wissen weitergeben. Und wir arbeiten mit sehr vielen Schulen zusammen, und Schulen, die ich nicht kenne, die machen mich natürlich wahnsinnig neugierig. Lassen Sie mal in Kontakt treten, guckt euch die Seite an, guckt euch unsere Podcasts an, was wir alles zu bieten haben. Wir haben sehr viel zu bieten. Und damit übergebe ich nochmal an Mara. Ich verabschiede mich. Really nice interview with you, Crystal. I'm happy to see you again.
And we will connect the Verband, yeah, ich verstehe. I will connect you guys. There's only 4 students. Can you believe that? That is unacceptable. There should be 40 students. But it just shows you how little the appreciation for the craft is there. And that is what I really would like to change.
Yes, we will power it up. We will power it up. We will say, okay, hat making is the most wonderful thing in the world.
Es war
Thanks a lot.
Hochinteressant, Christel.
Danke, Mara.
Und ich finde es großartig, dass du dieses wunderbare Handwerk, was in Westeuropa ja fast ausgestorben ist, aber wieder retouriert wird. im Moment
Coming back, yeah.
blüht es wieder auf. Und
Mhm.
es gibt mehr und mehr ganz junge Menschen, die sich des Themas wieder annehmen. Und da bin ich persönlich sehr, sehr froh darum.
Aha.
Und an die StudentInnen, Studentes oder Students
Yeah.
gerichtet, möchte ich sagen, mein Telefon trage ich immer umgehängt, wie ihr seht. Das ist jederzeit bereit, eure Fragen zu beantworten. Und wir freuen uns, wenn wir mit eurer Schule auch einen intensiveren Kontakt bekommen.
Okay, that would be great.
Yes, okay. One last wish from my side, please contact Mr. Miller-Dorman from Fikes, because I think he's waiting for your connection.
Super, I'm going to do that now. I will go around there today.
Okay.
Thank you for the
Nice
connection.
to meet you.
Thank for
See
the
you. Bye.
interview.
Ciao.
Have successful days in
Bye.
Berlin. Bye-bye.
Ciao, auch an die Students.
Yes. And the teachers, of course.